It is an at-home edition of the Cowboys Report, thanks to the hiring of Nick Sorensen as the new special teams coach for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll break that down, but first, Tyler Olivia has something she wants to say. What do you want to say?
Hi.
And?
Go Cowboys.
There you go. All right, go eat dinner with your mama. Thank you. Let's break down the Nick Sorensen hire then by the Dallas Cowboys. This is really the first time I think we've seen a friend of Brian Schottenheimer getting hired, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Who you know in this coaching world certainly does matter a lot. Sorensen's most recent job was actually as the defensive coordinator from the San Francisco 49ers. He was not brought back. It didn't go very well for Sorensen, who had spent a couple years as a Niners defensive assistant. He has previously been a special teams coordinator before. He was with the Jags in 2021, part of the ill-fated disaster class Urban Meyer hire, which I don't really blame that much any of the coaches on that. I think it was an Urban Meyer-led issue. Also spent time with Schottenheimer in Seattle. We'll break that all down for you here in a second. I do want to mention this off the top. This is where you kind of got to trust your coaches. It's special teams coordinator. I will say you were not going to do better than Bones Fossil. You were not going to find a better option out there than when Bones Fossil said he decided he wasn't going to come back and took the same job with the Tennessee Titans. So I do think just because of who you're losing, this is a downgrade. That doesn't mean it's a disaster class hire or anything bad. We haven't seen him do special team stuff in several years with the Jags. That unit wasn't particularly great. No unit on that team was particularly great. I don't really read too much into it. Has had some assistant special teams background stuff in Seattle. So this is one of those where you do kind of have to trust the coaching staff of, okay, Schottenheimer knows this guy. He thinks he's going to be good. Fingers crossed on that one. So give me your one-word reaction to the hire made by the Dallas Cowboys. You can let me know in the comments section of today's show. Give me your one word and one word only to Nick Sorensen getting hired. If your one word is who, that's fine as well, by the way. So give me your one word and one word only reaction to the hire if the pinned comment here comes on YouTube. Let's run through Nick Sorensen's overall just career and his path to where he is at. So I want to start with his playing career. He has a rather long tenure of an NFL player. He was mostly a backup safety. Miami Dolphins from 2001 to 2001. Then with the Rams for a couple years, 01 to 02. The Jags, 03 to 06, and then spent the last of his career with the Cleveland Browns, 2007 to 2010. Was a safety in the NFL, so it's not a key special teams player. So it's not a huge surprise that a lot of his coaching background has been defensive backs, secondary, and special team stuff. That certainly tracks from that regard. He has several different overlaps in his career with Brian Schottenheimer. He was the Seahawks secondary coach from 2017 to 2020, which was part of when Brian Schottenheimer was there in Seattle. And then 2021 was the Jags Special Teams coordinator. He took over that role for Brian Schneider, who eventually stepped away due to personal, I think it was health-related reasons, but I know it was personal reasons. So Sorensen kind of steps up in that area. Another coaching overlap there for Schottenheimer. I think this is very clearly a Schottenheimer hire. This is not one that has any influence whatsoever coming in from the Jones boys, from that organization. I also don't know if Steven and Jerry can tell you 5 special teams coaches out there in the NFL. I don't think very many people can. I'm sure there will be Niners fans enjoying the fact that Sorensen's gone, but it's a different role. I would never hire him as my defensive coordinator. Special teams coach? Okay, it's not a bad hire necessarily. We'll come back to more on his overall coaching career and the other candidates the Cowboys interviewed. But first, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You simply pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's available in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and, of course, Texas. With the big game just around the corner, you can get one of their free squares. It is Patrick Mahomes, a half passing yard. It's a no-brainer. There's literally zero reason to not include that on every single one of your Prize Picks slates. And if you haven't already, go download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is guaranteed, by the way, whether you win or lose that first Prize Pick slate. Once you play that first $5 lineup, you get it no matter what. So link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. It is prizepicks.com/CLNS, and use code CLNS to get that $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineup. Again, this is one of the first coaching staff hires, true hires made by Brian Schottenheimer. There's, interview, they're going to hire Matt Eberflus. That one is not going to be in the too distant future. I think it's more timing than anything else on that front. It's a matter of when, not if, Eberflus ends up getting hired. I wouldn't be shocked if there are some more offensive coordinator interviews to come. We did the OC candidate list earlier. I think that will continue to be the case in terms of interviewing more candidates, looking and exploring with what's exactly going to take shape on that front. I don't think they're done necessarily. The other name that I know has been mentioned by, I think it was Jonathan Jones over at CBS, I believe, was the interview there. I think Kerry Joseph, who was with Eberflus, by the way, I think has some ties to Schottenheimer as well. He is a quarterbacks coach interview, so we'll keep an eye on that one as well. But Sorensen is the special teams coach, and he was not the only guy interviewed, by the way, by the Dallas Cowboys. I want to get to those names in a second here. But I do want you to grade the Sorensen hire to the best of your abilities, of course. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Cowboys interviewed two other coaches, by the way. The first up was Chris Banjo, who was a longtime NFL player. We mentioned him on one of the previous shows here. And they also interviewed Chris Polk, who, kind of funnily enough, was the assistant special teams coach to Nick Sorensen in Jacksonville in 2021 and is out of a job right now. He was the assistant special teams coach for the Bears in 2022. So I would not be that surprised if Carlos Polk ends up getting a job with the Dallas Cowboys, potentially as the assistant special teams coach. He also played with then the San Diego Chargers back when Schotty was a coach for the now, of course, LA Chargers. So that is a name to monitor, I think, in terms of another potential staff member who has connections to your new special teams coach and your head coach. So keep an eye on Chris Polk potentially coming aboard. I'm sure at some point we'll get the DC hire official of Matt Eberflus, but the first official hire made, it is Nick Sorensen, the former Niners DC, as the new Cowboys special teams coach.